wanted to give some insight as to how training has changed this week. What you're seeing here is an arm day, and normally for arms, we do either a bicep, all bicep exercises first, or all tricep, and that's just a preference that Justin's had. He likes to keep the blood just in one area, keep it concentrated in that area, and then move on. Normally, we start out with biceps first, simply because training biceps, what we find is training biceps after you have a pumped tricep muscle allows peak contraction of the bicep to be a little bit harder, because you're having to stretch your tricep, and a pumped stretched tricep is hard to get a peak contraction on the bicep with. So that's just something that you'll see within all of our training, is we usually don't superset between biceps and triceps, and that's the reasoning why. The last few weeks though, as far as the training approach overall, we've pushed to failure, we push to failure often, but we don't really extend a set beyond failure much. And the reasoning for that is that, Justin's been ready for a while, and he's been ahead of schedule. So what that means is that we're not trying to go overly flat, or he's not trying to go overly flat, and extending sets. And this is something that I think a lot of people, can grasp from and learn from, through his approach, is that it's important that you don't overly do things. During prep, it's like you have that switch flipped on, that you want to train harder, you want to do more. And yes, there's a point, and you need to train hard, and you need to push your body, but you also need to know your body well enough to know that you could be doing detrimental things to your body by overly pushing. Your body's already in a deficit, and you need to be able to think outside the box of, okay, what's not important just for today, but what's important for this week, for next week, and then ultimately the stage. So that's kind of how we've approached training, in that we're pushing hard, but we're not trying to do things to overly flatten him out. And that's something that I think a lot of younger competitors can really grasp from, is that you don't always need to extend a set, or you don't always need to go to failure and beyond failure. So just picking and choosing your spots as to when to push. This week, though, is a little bit different. We're not, going beyond failure, but Justin is depleting a little bit, and the reason for depleting is, you're going to get a short-term supercompensation effect when you add carbohydrates back in. So if you deplete slightly, what's going to happen is your body for a short period of time is going to be able to store and hold more carbohydrates. So initially his body is going to go flatter, and then once he adds carbs back in at the end of the week, as his training tapers off, it's going to push the muscle fiber closer to the skin, because his body is in a supercompensated state, and this is somewhat of the goal of why he's doing this right now. So again, he's not going to extreme low levels of carbs, just slowly depleting the carbs. We're pushing a little bit harder in terms of the training. So what you're going to see there is, we're not doing crazy drop sets, but he is doing drop sets, and you can see that in the video today. So just kind of wanted to give you guys some insight into that, into what's going on. As he's approaching, essentially, we're going to deplete, or he's going to deplete through Tuesday, and then most likely we'll start loading carbohydrates again on Wednesday, to get ready for the show this Saturday.